Hello. All right, we're back. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday, my dudes. Let me set up the radio. Let's turn on that radio. Here we go. Let's go to lo-fi volume whatever this 10. We're on lo-fi volume 10 today. Let me pull up the chat window as usual. There it is. There. Wait a second. Where's? There it is. Oh, look at this. Cool pattern. Good old radio static. Yes, Konichi Wolf. Okay, here we go. Here's the chat window. We got this one. Gotta make sure that I have everything calibrated, you know? Check this one, check the avatar. You know, gotta have that mouth animation. That's working fine. Or T-posing. That's also fine. This is fine. This is perfectly fine. Alright, let me greet some people. Welcome Nabunat. Yo, he was first even before Stream Elements. Welcome Stream Elements, welcome Duck, Slime Molder, Cole, Denchi, Hamflow, Nutritious. Right there, everyone. Yeah, it's Water Wednesday, as we know. As we call it in the industry. Water Wednesday. It's the day when there is a lot of water. It's the middle of the week. Can you guys already believe it's the middle of the week? Then for people that were in the US, or are in the US, you had Monday off. And so therefore, it's like the second week of work. Sorry, the second day back after a long weekend. And we're like, it feels like it should be Tuesday, but actually it's Wednesday. Yeah, happy Water Wednesday. You can find Hamflow later. He's gonna be playing Mario Sunshine. Classic game with the water. You can find many other streamers playing water-related games, probably. There's gotta be some people playing Power Wash Simulator, you know, on Wednesday. It's a thing, you know, it's a thing. Everyone does it. Also, welcome Probs Not Jack. Yes, I scrolled up to make sure that I did not already greet you. And it's true, I did not. I did not already greet you. But anyway, yeah, it's Wednesday. It's a new week. This is actually, if you think about it, it's the last fishing stream of the year. The year being relative to when I first started streaming. You know, some people say the year is relative to January 1st. But what if this was, you know, if your frame of reference is like the first day you stream, that's the first day of the year. So tomorrow will be the anniversary. And it's the new calendar. It's the Wolfie calendar. It's the final day. This is the New Year's Eve of streaming anniversary. I was gonna put that as a title, and then I decided this is like it's too clickbait. What if your year was relative to the moon cycle? Yeah, that's also a thing. You got the Lunar New Year, as they call it. That's coming up soon, right? It's like sometime in January. Actually, it might be this weekend even. What's that like? Anyone out here celebrating? This Saturday, yeah, this Saturday. It's so soon. It's like, it feels like it gets earlier every year. But I guess maybe it doesn't. I don't actually know how it works. Sunday, Saturday and Sunday. Both. How people celebrate by posting more rabbits. You know what's gonna happen. This entire year, people are gonna do it. And I remember actually, when we were talking about this a few weeks ago, I think I asked the question like, which zodiac animal do you guys think has the fewest like anime fan art of characters? But I feel like that question is a bit biased because like 12 years ago, there was not as much online art, you know? And so I think it'll generally increase as time goes on. As more people do digital art. Also welcome Laketh. I feel like this is I feel like this is a better time for New Year. What is the ideal time for it? Also welcome Peace Water. Welcome. In Vietnam they're celebrating the Year of the Cat. What is their year system? Because I know the cat is not actually in the zodiac, right? I remember when I was in elementary school, they had this, they told us the story of how they decided the 12 zodiac animals. There's like I think the lore is that there was a race, you know? And then the first 12 animals would get the zodiac named after them. And the cat was in the race. And the cat did not get in the top 12. So that's why there's no Year of the Cat. But maybe in Vietnam there is. I'm not familiar. Probably the ox. You think the ox has the fewest? No, but like ox is like cow, right? So when it's like Year of the Cow, yeah, people drawn cows. Welcome Chokojix. Also welcome Admiral Kobayashi. It's the first fish vibing. Yeah, it's there. It's gonna be here the whole year. We got the fish out here. It's still alive somehow. The rat rode on the ox and jumped into first place. Yeah, that was the thing. That was the lore. Anyone out here remembering the lore? I forget, like, there's like a whole long thing about, you know, the race and what happened. I only remember the ending. It's like the tortoise and the hare. It's like that. Except I think the tortoise is a different thing. The tortoise was not in this race. Actually, what are the zodiac animals? Okay, let me try and name them. You got the rat. You got the ox. You got the chicken. These are not in order. You got the sheep. You got the snake. Horse. Yeah, what else was there? Cat. We know cat is not there. I already named rat. Yeah, dragon. Okay, classic. Dragon is a classic one. Oh yeah, Jackie Chan Adventures. I remember that. I watched that show so much as a kid. Jackie Chan Adventures. I don't remember anything that happened in that show, but it was a thing. Yo, what dragon is? Yeah, Tiger. Tiger was there. You know, Zodiac because Mabinogi used to used to have events. Actually, I think Animal Crossing did as well, right? I remember in I forget which game. It might have been Wild World, where every year you would get a new like Zodiac animal item. And I only got one of them because I've never played an Animal Crossing game for more than a year. Every time the new year comes around, I'm like, well, I'm done with this game. Oh yeah, the dog, pig, rooster, tiger. Yeah, I forgot the dog was a year. I forgot about that. I didn't know. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that there are 12 animals. Those are the only 12 animals to ever exist in the history of animals. Yes, that's cool. Anyway, yeah. Hopefully it's a good time, you know? Everyone out there chilling. The new year. Dog, yeah, there's a dog right there. I don't know. Anyway, notice it's been getting brighter outside recently. Cause I think the past few months, like right after I end work and I start this stream, I go to the kitchen. It's like really dark outside. I have to like turn off the lights and then I go into my room, where I have the lights on in my room. I mean, but in the kitchen, you know, I try to turn the lights off, and then I can't see anything. But today actually, when I went to refill my water and I turned off the light in the kitchen, I could actually see, and I was like, what the? It's only January and it's already starting to have light outside at 5 p.m. Also welcome Flamebird Phoenix. Only topic I can think of is what game has the best fishing? This one. Obviously this one. This is the best fishing game of all time. There's no competition. I feel like this window is a bit it's a bit lower than it should be. Let me make some adjustments. Here, I wish I could like just move it up without rotating it, you know? You know what I mean? It's like I'm the center of the sphere and it just rotates around me. I would like to just hold it, like just move it up, you know? Or maybe it's relative to where my head is, so what if I stand up taller? Does that make it? I don't know. Nodders nodding. What if I put it all the way in the distance? You guys ever do those eye exams? Like I think well, okay, people that have glasses do them, but I mean when I was in school, you know, they would do these eye exams and they tell you to cover one eye and then try to like read the thing. I think when I was a kid, I learned a very important lesson from that. Is that when they ask you to put your hand over your eye, do not like put your hand like directly, like your palm directly touching, because then, you know, when you close the other eye, the eye that was closed, you know, it's all like blurry because, you know, like when you rub your eyes, not your eyeball, but like, you know when you rub your eyes and you're like, everything's blurry. You know, you ever got that? And then I did that once and I could not read anything. And it's like, no, it's because I put my hand over my eye. Exactly. There's a prop thing. That's too advanced. They don't have stuff like that. Yeah. Yo, Moonybug, welcome. My favorite streamer, what the, is me? Let's see, Probs Not Jack says I got an eye exam scheduled this Monday. And in context. Anyone else out here wear contacts? I mentioned before, like, I wear glasses only when I need to see stuff that's far away. But contacts feel like they're really annoying, right? You gotta, like, put them in this solution overnight. You gotta, like, put them in your eyes every day. Feels kind of annoying. Love the mandatory eye and ear exams. Oh yeah, what's the deal with those ear exams, anyway? Right, like, when you go to the doctor and they put a thing in your ear and just, like, beeps. Like, it has like a low frequency beep, and then you gotta like raise your hand when you hear it. What's the deal with those? The earworm. The duck says I think I messed up my eye exam. Just like me, for real. But I haven't had an eye exam in a long time. I feel like my vision is deteriorating. Just the fact that, like, I'm just indoors all the time. I just am staring at a screen the whole time. I have hands, look at this. These are my real hands. I have no arms. These are just my hands. Although I guess what you guys see. There's a... I do have hands. Oh, you mean like, okay, I guess you mean like this thing over... It's just like a circle. It's kind of like... Oh, look at this. Rayman. Yes. Yeah, the prop thing. I used to wear contacts until it got lazy. I have a coworker, or a former coworker, because they don't work there anymore. But he got LASIK eye surgery. And he's like, it's the most amazing thing. And you don't have to wear glasses anymore. Rayman. Yeah, you guys remember Rayman? I sound different. I'm on my my VR headset mic. I don't know. Some people actually say it sounds better, and I don't know if that's true. Some people say it sounds clearer, clearer. You can hear all the like gross mouth noises, you know. I don't know. But I was watching Clavio stream the other day, and someone got her an SM7B mic on her throne, and she was talking about how she had to like buy a new interface to actually be able to use it. And then I was in chat and I was like, yo, that's the mic that I have. I I have that one. And then I was like, this is the interface I use. And I answered a bunch of questions. And then I said, actually, many people say my cheap headset mic sounds better. So take that as you will. Sun Mulder says, eye surgery spooks me more than most surgeries. Yeah, because it's like your eyes are so important, right? You have like a laser shining straight into your eye. Like, what if they mess up, you know? I'm sure, like I know they're trained for it. But like, what if like, you know, what if they press the wrong button? You're ruined, and you're dead. It's like, I need those. I need my eyes to see. You know, that's how it is. I have glasses so I can cover my face. You can do that. You can wear glasses. See, I don't remember. I forgot to go on Twitch for some time. It has been a while. It's been a while since I've seen you in chat. Hope you're doing okay. Hope you're playing that Final Fantasy 14, whatever. I don't know what people do in that game. Whatever that is. Hopefully it's going well. SM7B. I need those, yeah. I need the eyeballs. It's like one of the most important parts is being able to see, you know? One of the most vital organs. Actually, what is an organ? Is it just like any part of your body? Is your hand an organ? What is an organ? Because I know there's a distinction between organs. You got internal organs. Organ is a state. Are eyes organs? Is your tongue an organ? Never thought about it. Let's look it up. This is the stream where we can look up stuff. Let's check it out. Ow. You can hear all my chair noises. Listen to this. That's right, I'm sitting. Okay, what is an organ? Organelle? What is an organ? Organ. Part of an organism that is typically self-contained and has a specific vital function, such as the heart or liver. Self-contained. It's also a musical instrument, of course. Organ is a state. I think the tongue is a muscle. Not an organ. Hands are not organy. What is the definition of an organ? The heart. Wait, do we only have 11 organs? An organ is a collection of tissues. Your heart, kidneys, and lungs. But these are all like internal. Are there external organs? These are organ systems. The skeletal system? That's not an organ. That's just a skeleton. Okay, the organ. The brain, lungs, liver, bladder. Are there external organs? Sorry, the FBI agent watching me is gonna have so many questions. What's the names of external and internal organs? What are the external? Wait, yeah, look at this. Hair, eye. Wait, hair is an organ? Is that true? Eyes. Okay, eyes make sense. Ears, nose, teeth. Skin. Teeth is an organ? I thought it's just like bones. How does that work? We have 11 vital organs, okay. Skin. Skin is an organ. Legs. I don't know. This definition seems really vague, you know. The liver. These make sense. Bones. Also, welcome Tag Barrel Storage. It's our favorite fisherman. Our favorite. Me, the fisherman? I don't even fish. I just am here on the lake. Now I'm more confused. Yeah, I think this has this brought up even more questions. What are external organs? Scent organs. Okay, so the skin is somehow an organ. This feels very hand wavy. It's hard to tell what this is. Okay, internal organs. Skeleton, yeah, okay, apparently, okay, veins. Veins are an organ. Somehow, I would not have thought of veins as an organ. Weird. Anyway, I guess we learned something. And that something is that organs are very complex. The spleen, yo, anyone out here even know what a spleen is? Doesn't the spleen, like, filter stuff? No, there's a lot of things that filter stuff, right? The liver filters stuff. The gallbladder, the spleen. What the heck is the spleen? What is a spleen? Spleen is a small organ inside your left ribcage. It's part of the lymphatic system. What is the purpose of the spleen? Controls the level of white blood cells, red blood cells, and platelets. It screens the blood. Okay. Welcome, Ayumi. First time chat. Organs are just a bunch of tissue that has a function. So your mucous membranes are organs, but your mucus aren't. Yeah, I guess because like mucus can be like discharged from like your body, right? It sounds like a weird way to put it, but that's the medical term, right? And so you wouldn't just be like discharging your organs. That'd be kind of weird. It's the thing that always gets heard in cartoons. That's also what I think of. Every time I think of the word spleen, I'm just like, that's just the funny thing that people say in cartoons. It's like the guy from SpongeBob who says my leg, except sometimes people say my spleen. Everyone asks why is the spleen, but no one asks how is the spleen. How's everyone's spleen doing today? That's gonna be the new stream greeting. Hello everyone, it's me, Wolfie Wolfington. How's your spleen? That's good. Is good. Good to hear. Platelets are cute. Oh yeah, there's that anime from a while ago, right? The Cells at Work. I was thinking, I'm sure a lot of people learned about internal organs via that show. That's kind of cool. I remember when it was like a big thing where like a lot of doctors on YouTube were reacting to it, and those videos got viral. And then they're just like, "Yo, real doctor reacts to episode of that show," and then everyone was like, "Yo, can you watch the next episode, please? I would love to hear an expert opinion on this." At least the organ definition is easily understood. Read about the definition for berries and fruits, and it will induce frustration. I think we talked about this. Like, banana is a berry, right? Something like that. It's really weird. I don't understand. Classification systems are difficult. But like, okay, so like an organ is just like a bunch of tissues that serve some sort of function, right? How do I know if my spleen is broken? Maybe you could go to your doctor. They probably have some protocol for this. It'd be like, "Hello, doctor. I watched a stream the other day and they talked about spleens. Can you check my spleen?" And I'm sure they do a bunch of stuff. You know, they got x-rays. You got, medical imagery. A lot of stuff. You know how it is. You know how doctors do things. You just ask them something and they're like, I don't know, pay us a bunch of money. It's more that the mucus isn't tissue. It's protein and water. Tissues need cells. I guess you don't expel it probably makes sense too. Yeah. I don't know, but also like people, like skin particles get expelled, right? You know? Because like if skin is an organ, but then it's like constantly falling off. You guys know that dust is actually, for the most part, it's like dead skin cells. That's why it's really, really dusty in rooms usually. In bedrooms, I mean. But like if skin cells are constantly falling off, and skin is an organ, then how does that work? I guess it's not really part of the definition. I don't know. I simply don't know. Well, Doctor, a little fisherman told me to check my spleen. Yes. It's a Spleen Awareness Day. I'm sure that's one of the days of the year, right? Every day at the end of the stream, we just look at the list of stuff. And I'm sure one of these days will be like, take care of your spleen day. And then we'll be like, yo, I was there. When we were talking about spleens. We'll come back to this stream in like a year. And I'll be like, you know, we'll just be watching this video. And be like, remember that time Wolfie Wolfington talked about spleens. Let's see, they'd probably just start with a blood sample, checking your blood in general. It's a pretty easy and can find stuff early. It's just uncomfortable and a big baby. Yeah. It's blood donations. Well, it's not donations. They're just using it. It's just the blood samples. Anyone here okay? Like when okay, it's like when you go to the doctor and they require a blood sample. Is anyone here like not comfortable with? I guess no one is comfortable with it. But like anyone have like a strong fear of when they put the needle? Actually, the fact that I'm talking about this might upset people. You know, some people even thinking about needles is like scary. I think when I go to the doctor and they ask for like a blood sample, like I'm fine with it as long as I'm not looking at the needle, right? It's like as soon as they pull out the needle, I look over at the wall, and then they just do what they need to do, and then I just look back. And I just look away. Exactly. I simply don't look at it. Cole's gotten better at it over the past couple of years. It's like, it's a reasonable fear, right? Normally in your everyday life, you typically, hopefully, don't have needles just sticking to you. See, you don't know having to get naked and roll around on the floor? Wait, what? What is this one? Oh, I didn't even read this comment. Imagine we shed skin like snakes. That'd be tidier. That would be frightening. If you just woke up one day and like all your skin was like shed like a snake on your bed, you're just like, what am I gonna do with this? You got thrown in the trash. Weird. See, it sucks when they have to try multiple times because they can't find a vein. Yeah, actually that happens to me all the time. When my workplace used to have a blood donation drive, they would always be like, why are your veins so hard to find? And I'm like, I don't know, I don't understand. I don't know. I don't know how that happens. Handflow stares straight at it to assert dominance. He's too strong. How's he so strong? And look away to reduce the pain. Something psychology. Yeah, it makes sense, right? If you're not looking at it, like, you don't really feel it that much. But if you are looking at it, and then you see, like, the blood coming out, you're like, holy frick. That's my blood. It's me. That's scary. Free dust. Cole says, I never get flu shots because needles are too strong for me. I think it is reasonable to be afraid of needles. Because they're sharp and pointy. They inject stuff. Let's see, latest times I've gotten needled, I haven't even felt it. Something about the needle being stuck in your body and blood continuously draining. Okay, just seeing that being described is bothering me. Like that is what happens, and yet, you know, just seeing the words. Okay, so I think one of the times that I went to the doctor that I remember. Well, I mean, I remember all the times, but like one specific time was like, you know, okay, so my hands are naturally very shaky, right? It might come across sometimes in VR. If I hold my hands up, they're like constantly shaking. That's just part of like some sort of medical condition I have. But like, I went to the doctor one time, and you know, they're like giving me the needle to like, you know, extract the blood. And the nurse thought I was like so afraid. She's like, why are you so afraid? Your hands are shaking. They're shaking so much. Are you so scared of this? And I was like, no, I'm just always like this. They didn't believe me. They thought I was so afraid of the needle. But then my mom was like, no, he's just like this. I think they thought I was making up a mistake or making up an excuse. But that's just what I'm like. See, needles kind of feel like when little birds grip onto your skin. Oh yeah, I guess you do have parrots, right? Or a parrot. I've never had a bird grip onto my skin. I feel like it'd be kind of weird. Yeah, the bird. I know the two birds. There's the green one and the white one. Well, one of them. Okay, one of them exists. The other one only exists in virtual form at the moment. Let's see. If you check lizards shedding, the process is very laborious. You wouldn't suddenly notice your skin laying on the floor. You'd be struggling to get the tough spots off for a long time. I feel like that'd be really annoying. It's like molting, right? Well, no, molting is what birds do, right? Molting is when they lose their feathers. I guess it's kind of similar, right? It's like you're just like parts of your skin fall off in large blotches, kind of like a snake. Birds are cool. They do be cool though. Birds are good. I enjoy birds. They seem like one of the more simple bird species, screaming and needing to be entertained 24/7. Birds, they're just, they're just little guys. Just out there living their life. That's how things are. No screaming. Oh, I thought you were saying that they scream a lot. they do scream a lot. I didn't know lovebirds were an actual like species of birds. I thought that was just like a phrase that people said. Apparently they're real. Apparently they're actual birds. Real for real birds. Is there any animal that cannot be described as little guys? What about small whales though? Right, obviously like when whales are full size, they're huge. But you ever see like a baby whale? Now that I think about it, I don't think I have. I've never thought about this. Surely there are baby whales. So let's look it up. I'm gonna learn something today. Baby whale. Baby whale. Oh yeah, like whale sharks. Those are... Oh, okay, this is a baby... Whoa, y'all, look at this one. It's the orca, and you got a smaller orca. I don't know, it looks just like the regular whale, but like if someone took the Photoshop like resize tool and just made it smaller. Like the proportions look all the same. Okay, look at this one. Look at that small whale. Look at these whales. Okay, I thought they would be cuter. They're basically just, oh look at that, y'all, look at this, is a real baby whale. How'd they get this photo? It's so crisp. Whoa, look at this one, what the heck? Kids save newborn baby whale that washed up on shore. That's a baby whale. Okay, this one is a real photo of a baby whale. That's pretty cool. Okay, alright, don't look at the whale with the blood on it. This always happens. Every time you look at whales, it's always like some whale that's like dying. Don't scroll. don't look. Let's see. Yeah, whales. Tagbrow Store says, "You are a bigger man than me that can handle that." Chocojax is not a man. What? Impression of doves are really quiet. Doves are the white birds, right? Are there doves that are not white? Parakeets are loud. True. Birds be out here making sounds. The baby capybaras. Wait, what? I've never seen a baby capybara. What does that look like? Holy frick! Look at this. I've never seen a baby capybara. Oh wait, look, wait, yeah, these, look at this one. The small coconut dog. How is it so small? Look at this. Yo, look at that. It's so tiny. Get the regular size capybara. Man, baby animals are good. Looks like a plushy blahage. How often do I look up whales? Never. Only now. This is why I've never known what a baby whale looks like. Oh, are you asking how I know that Google Images sometimes just has like bloody images of whales? I guess because it's usually in the news, right? Is it in the news? I don't actually know. People hunt like animals, you know? They're always like, this whale was hunted and this whale was beached on the shore. Let's see. Even women or men, it's in the definition. Whoa. 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 Whoa, men. Non-white doves are pigeons? Wait, are pigeons just doves? But like colored differently? Non-white doves. Oh, look at this dove. This dove looks like, it's like a watermelon, watermelon colored. Look at this one. Fancy looking bird right here. Columbidae. Pigeon and dove redirect here. It's a bird family consisting of doves and pigeons. Okay, so there's doves and pigeons who are both known as Columbidae. It's in the order Columbiformes. Now like this. This is a pink-necked green pigeon. Damn, look at this bird. That's a good bird. This is a bird in Singapore. Sorry, size. Dogs are also kind of man. Yeah, when we played Dark Souls yesterday, I was like, the skeleton is just like a dog. But it's a man. Because they want you to know they're dying. Wait, which one? It's resized? Which one? What are you talking about? Someone's dying. What kind of news am I? Oh, the whales? I don't know. I just... It's a thing. Okay, remember when I used to have, I had an Akari image bot on Twitter? Some people may be aware of this. Basically, it would take photos. It would, like... It would follow a bunch of people. It would pull random words. It would do a Google search. And then just put text over it. I had to moderate that stuff, and I've seen more images of bloody things than I would like. Because, like, even if you request safe search in Google, they don't guarantee it. And I was like, this is too much. I'm gonna like, stop. You know, if you just have a bot that just Googles any word, get the image for it. Yeah, that duck knows. Anyway, that's a thing. They're dying. Yeah, whales, they do be dying. Let's see, the only controversial hunting I hear about here are wolves. And those still don't show the gore. Wolves? Are wolves hunting things, or are the wolves being hunted? I guess probably the wolves are doing the hunting. Maybe. Let's see, the regular city pigeon is a rock dove. They like living on cliffs, which big city architecture mimics really well. I guess that makes sense. Some people call pigeons like the rats of the city. Or like rats with wings, basically. But is that only like the city pigeons? Are the pigeons that live on cliffs, are they also rats? Are they different? It's basically the Italian word for dove/pigeon, columba. What about Christopher Columbus? Was he a pigeon? So Wolfie becoming bird-pilled? No. Birds are cool. Chicken Coop Enjoyer, thank you for the 7 months. Yeah, we're talking about birds. Chickens are birds. Right? Right? Looking for confirmation that chickens are birds? That chickens are real? Wolves are hunted? By who? Who's out there hunting wolves? Why would they do this? Pigeon jam. Rat jam. Rat jam with the wings. Anyway, what are the best potato chip flavors? I don't know. Sour cream and onion is pretty good. I think actually Choco Jacks, I forgot whether it was on her Discord or on her stream, she was talking about how she had sour cream and cheddar chips, and I also think those are good. Someone in chat said they hated them, and I was like, what do you mean? Those are pretty good. Sour cream and onion, pretty good. I don't know, I generally prefer corn chips over potato chips. I don't know. Give me a Dorito or like some other corn chip. I feel like potato chips, they're like okay at first, and then after you have a few of them, it's like it's too much. The potato flavor is too overwhelming. It's too much grease, you know. Anyway, yeah, birds. We're talking about birds. We have a tiny population here the hunting lobby gets mad about, which I can understand since they often kill the hunting dogs. What the? Wolves? Wolves are dangerous. I've never seen like a wolf in real life. I would probably be very afraid. They can bite anything. They will bite anything. In Hawaii, chickens are just wild and running around. Like just like you go out in the street and you see a chicken. Like not domesticated. It's not like on a farm. You just have chickens, wild chickens, everywhere. Hot chip. Let's see. Maybe the solution is just to hunt without dogs and keep farm life fenced. So now we're getting political. small local issues in the relevant countries. I don't know. Hunting is a complicated issue though. Like if you don't hunt, then maybe the population gets out of control. Sometimes you got the wild hogs and boars that come onto your property, you know? That meme from a while ago, 30 to 50 feral hogs. Remember that one? Let's see, sour cream chips are kind of bland personally. A nice dill pickle is great. I like sour cream and onion, those are good. I personally enjoy them. See, Choco Jack says, remember devouring shrimp chips. Yeah, I think I had those as well. They're like shrimp chip. Okay, there's like two different types of shrimp chips, I think. There's the kinds that are like, they look like potato fries. Well, I don't know what other kind of fries there would be. Potato fries, but they're like shrimp flavored. And then they have like the shrimp chips that are like circular, you know, the ones that are kind of fried. Both of those are pretty good. I don't know which one you mean, but those are both pretty good. Sour cream, salt and vinegar, also very sick. I'm assuming you mean sick in the good way. I do not like... I told the story before, I don't like vinegar chips. I'm sure people remember my story about washing the vinegar chips as a kid. I ruined them. I think the vinegar flavor is too strong usually. It's not really my thing. Let's see. Wolves are bigger than most people expect, much larger than dogs. Yeah, it's like horses, right? When you see like a horse in a video game or a movie, you're like, oh, that's just the normal size. And then you stand next to like a real horse and you're like, holy frick. This thing is huge. If it kicked me, I would die. If I like walked in front of it while I was running, I would be trampled and I would die. Just, you know, those are just things we think about sometimes. And by we, I mean everyone. I'm sure everyone thinks this when they see a horse. This thing could kill me. It's dangerous. Let's see. Wolves are extremely shy. Even tame ones seem spooked by humans. I guess it's like media, you know? Like in movies, they always depict wolves as being dangerous and hunting. Kind of like sharks, right? In Jaws, you know? Jaws started making people think that sharks were scary. I think most sharks are they're just chilling. They're just in the ocean. They would not attack you. Say, Chicken Coop says we have a couple of wild peacocks and turkeys. And turkeys pretty cool. Also, welcome Happy Toaster. Wait, how long ago was that? That was 3 minutes ago. I'm 3 minutes behind in chat. Okay, Slime Molder says we voted to reintroduce wolves in Colorado a couple of years ago. They do be killing farm animals occasionally. Wait, how did they reintroduce the wolves? Did they just like they had them in captivity and then they just freed them out into the wild? Or like did they specifically breed more wolves? And then they went around killing farm animals. Like wolves and coyotes, those are kind of similar, right? And wild boars are scary. I would be scared. Met a wolf once, but a fellow student had crinkly clothing, which scared it off. Crinkly clothing. What does that mean? It made a lot of sound. When I think of crinkly, I just think of like metal. The sound of like metal armor. Maybe they were wearing metal armor. Nabanon says, what about sea salt chips? Those are pretty good, but I feel like sea salt chips are kind of plain. I think I usually prefer a bit more flavor. And also, like, if you eat too much salt, it's like, you know, too much sodium. But they're okay in moderate amounts. I think when I used to be in an office, they would have these, like, sea salt chips. I think they were called pop chips. And we had those, and those were actually pretty good. Pop chips. Actually, okay, wow, that's loud. If I were to say which potato chip brand I like, Pop Chips would be up there. They're like pretty small. Let's see. Vinegar's nice. A strong flavor makes the fat less noticeable, but it's too strong. See, Lay's all-dressed chips are the best. Ruffles not Lay. Cole, are you Canadian? I feel like I should know this. All-dressed chips, ketchup chips. Those are Canadian things. How do I not know? Wait, I've known Cole for so long. I feel like I knew this at one point. I think I've forgotten. Oh, you're not in... Okay, well, you used to be. Okay. Canadian. Oh, Campflo, don't... How dare you. Let's see. Seeing a real horse is a trip. Scary creature. Yeah, they're huge. Horses are so big. After I discovered I was allergic to garlic/onions, it made finding chips harder. Garlic and onions. I feel like okay, so like sour cream and onion chips are pretty common. But I feel like I don't usually see garlic chips. Like I can't think of a common brand of chip that has garlic. Unless maybe like they use them in small quantities, right? That's possible. It could be that they just exist out there. Sharks are easily provoked though, aren't they? I actually have no idea. It could be that they are aggressive. I think people are more afraid of them than they probably would normally be. Just because of the movie Saws. See, Tag Barrel says, out here in Sweden, they just walk from Russia through Finland. The wolves? Sorry, I'm so far behind in chat. Like, people are saying things and I'm like, what was this in reference to? Okay, I'm gonna put this in my mental note. Tag Barrel Storage is from Sweden. We got another European in chat. We have a lot of Europeans. Because I guess my streaming hours are very... they're kind of European friendly, I guess, in some extent. Sweet. Okay, let me scroll up. Unlucky, I always sweat after eating snacks oniony and didn't realize it was an allium allergy. Until I connected the dots. Yeah, it's like when you have like a minor allergy and you're just like, I don't know, you don't think about it because it still feels fine, right? Sometimes when I eat like what is that fruit called? Cantaloupe? Yeah, sometimes when I eat cantaloupe, the inside of my mouth feels weird, but it's like it's not really weird, right? It's just a little bit weird. Like when I drink water afterwards, it's got this weird feeling. And I'm like, I think I'm allergic. But it's not an allergy to the sense that it really hinders me that much. It's just a little bit annoying. But I don't know, maybe it's a thing. Maybe if I keep eating it, I'll die. That hasn't happened yet. I haven't died yet. Right? Anyone out here? You guys in chat, anyone out here ever died? I don't think so. Probably. Let's see. The clothing made sounds and it freaked out. The keepers mostly had soft clothing. Yeah, that's a thing. Sorry, I'm so far. I'm gonna scroll. Okay, I'm gonna read the comments faster. Ketchup chips. I have had ketchup chips actually. One time, some Canadian friends visited New York, and they brought over the all dress chips and the ketchup chips. The ketchup chips, I'm not a fan. Right, I don't know, something about it. It's like when you're eating, like, you know, normally you eat potatoes with ketchup, and that makes sense, right? You think of like fries, you put ketchup on them. You think of like, you know, hash browns, some people put ketchup on them. But for some reason, ketchup chips were just really weird. Like the ketchup flavor was just maybe too strong. I don't know what it is. I did not enjoy the ketchup chips. I think the all-dressed chips are pretty good. I haven't had them in a long time, so I don't know if I would still enjoy them, but they were okay. Happy Toaster said, had a visitor from Scotland here in California. Okay, putting that in my mental notes. Happy Toaster 1 is from California, just like the other toaster. He was intimidated by the idea of coyotes, wolves, and bears. They do just be out here existing. Handful is BMing all of Canada. How could he do that? Okay, so symptoms minor. Horses, donkeys. I don't think I've ever seen a donkey actually. I've seen them in cartoons. I've seen them in Shrek. I've seen donkey in Shrek, but not in real life. I have seen horses though. Actually, in New York, they have these. Some of the police, for some reason, still ride horses. I don't know like why they still do that, but sometimes they'll be walking around in Central Park, and then you'll just see like a police officer on a horse, and like this feels very inefficient. How do they take care of these horses? They have like, do they have like a stable somewhere in the city that they just like have the horses, and there's no reason for them to be on the streets. It's weird. I think it's probably for tourists. I don't know. It's kind of weird to me. It's midnight. Wait, what was this? What was this in response to? Canadian hunters. Okay, we had some questions in chat. Based in cooking pilled. Haven't died yet. I also haven't died. Also, welcome, Shun Panic. Does the roof of my mouth tighten up or anything with tomatoes? I don't think so. I don't think that has ever happened to me. Or if it has, I haven't been aware of it. Ketchup is bad, mustard is best. I don't know. I'm not a fan of mustard either. Ketchup is fine though, but like not on ketchup chips. Something about it just feels weird. Okay, look, I've caught up with chat. I've scrolled far enough that it's, you know, I'm here now. They don't actually taste anything like ketchup. It's got like a weird, very strong flavor. Ketchup chips, I would not recommend it. Maybe if they had like a little bit of ketchup. Go hydrate. Yeah, I should. After I catch up. After I read the rest of these messages. Here, normal people ride horses in some nearby towns. Yeah, horse people. Just out here with their horses. Horse hotels. What is that? That's where they keep the horses. Horse stables. These donkeys IRL sound almost completely, but not entirely, unlike Eddie Murphy. What? Then again, I guess since I haven't seen a donkey in real life, I guess I wouldn't know what they sound like. The only way I've heard them is from cartoons. I'm sure not all of them sound like Eddie Murphy. Maybe they do. Maybe it's possible that they do. It's midnight in GMT, so you don't stream at Euro-friendly hours, which is weird. Yeah, but it's like friendlier hours than most people that stream like, you know, 8 p.m. Eastern time. It's like 5 p.m. Pacific. Oh, so yeah, it is midnight over there. Not even the delicious French Dijon mustard. I don't know, not really a fan. I think actually one time when I was in Japan, one of my friends brought me to this place with some, it's like a little buffet, I guess. And they had this, maybe it was the French Dijon mustard dipping sauce. That one was actually okay. Also, welcome to NanoDan. No, the anniversary is tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be out here reacting to old streams. Okay, anyway, as someone mentioned I should go hydrate, I'm gonna go hydrate right now. Alright, I've hydrated. Yes, anniversary eve. This is my last fishing stream of the year. Of the year being in reference to when I first started streaming. That's my frame of reference. Anyway, okay, let's see, Americans make pretty good mustard too. Their unsweetened yellow stuff is surprisingly good. I don't know about mustard. It's fine, like I don't dislike mustard. But I normally don't go out of my way to get it. What about relish? You guys ever get like, I know like when people get hot dogs, the typical thing is like, you know, mustard. Some people actually don't like having ketchup on hot dogs, which I always, you know, I always associated ketchup with hot dog, but some people don't like that. And then relish is a thing. I don't think I've ever had relish on a hot dog. Maybe. Like, what is relish? What the heck is relish? Some people have sauerkraut. You guys ever have sauerkraut on a hot dog? What's the deal with sauerkraut? This is peak drinking performance. Yeah, drinking that water. Mustard on cheese is a good combo. Possibly. I don't know. I guess mustard is fine. Maybe the cheese helps balance the flavor. Because, like, if I just have mustard... Just like mustard on a hot dog, it feels a bit too strong. Maybe with the cheese. You ever have chili cheese dogs? I've never had one. Relish sometimes. Swedish hot dog relish is called Boston cucumber. Why'd they call that Boston? It's like one of those things where like someone invents something and then they name it after a location that is not actually where it was invented. like California rolls, like Arizona iced tea. Probably a bunch of other stuff. I don't know. the hamburger. Well, the hamburger was invented in Hamburg, supposedly. Yeah, Californias are supposedly not. California rolls are supposedly not from California. I think it was like made in Canada, maybe, or like I don't know, somewhere up there. French fries, yeah, they're not actually French. Weird. It's like, what if you invent something and you're like, this thing sucks. I'm gonna name it after a place that I hate. You're like, okay, this absolutely awful food, I'm gonna name it after my least favorite location in the entire world. Like Ohio or something. People love to make fun of Ohio, I don't know. Canadian bacon. Canadian bacon is just ham, right? I don't know. It's not even bacon. What is bacon? Is bacon a specific cut of pork? Because it all looks very similar. Anyway, okay. Sauerkraut is great. Meat sausage, true. Sauerkraut and kimchi. I've never had that combination. See, Laketh says, what about mayo? Mayo goes pretty well with pretty much every meat or fried thing. I like Japanese mayo. Like, I don't know what to call the default mayo. American mayo, I guess. The default non-Japanese Kewpie mayo is... it's okay. But, Kewpie mayo is, very good. It's top tier. It's been a long time since I've had it though. French fries, Canadian bacon. Bacon is pork belly. Actually, yeah, that makes sense. Some places had what is this food called? There's like a taco place near my old workplace, and they had like pork belly tacos. And they're pretty good. And it was like very similar to bacon, and I guess that makes sense. Maybe it's the same thing as bacon. Now, the classic way to eat a hot dog here is with a Boston cucumber and shrimp salad. Both are pretty neat, but with the names are nonsense. Shrimp salad? Boston cucumber? Is this a Swedish thing? Hold on, I think you said you were from Sweden, right? Hope I didn't forget. Hope I didn't make this up. I committed it to memory. Okay, smoked pork belly. Ham is leg. Bacon is belly. I see, that makes sense. Heinz mayo? Where's that one from? Heinz mayo. You guys know Heinz? They make, you notice how some people, they combine ketchup and mayo? Or some people combine like ketchup and ranch. I think Heinz, or like one of the companies, they sell pre-packaged like mayo combined with ketchup. They call it mayo chup. And also ketchup with ranch. They have a pre-packaged thing called Cranch. It actually sounds like, it sounds unpleasant, but it's real. The name Cranch with a K. K-R-A-N-C-H. That's weird. Weird name. Yeah, Cranch? No, with a K. Cranch. Actually, this reminds me. You guys remember like a long time ago when they had, I forgot who it was. Maybe it was Heinz. They had these like purple and green ketchup. I forgot what they were advertising, but it was like, it looked really gross. They had them like on the commercials, and they're like, yo, look at this special edition like purple and green ketchup. And I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. I remember those, yeah, exactly. Why did they have those? Were they advertising something? I could look it up. Cranch. Cranch, more like cringe. It's better than ketchup. See, people rave about sriracha mayo, so maybe it isn't too bad. It's pretty good. You guys ever have wasabi mayo? Yeah, that's pretty good. I also think the green ketchup was for Shrek, but there was like a purple one, so I don't know what it was. I guess we can look it up. Let's look it up. It's the stream where we can look up stuff. Heinz purple ketchup. Oh, this looks gross. Discontinued. Okay, look at they got these fries. This looks extremely unappetizing. They got the purple ketchup. They had a blue one. They had blue ketchup too. The untold truth of Heinz Easy Squirt ketchup. Hold on, Heinz purple ketchup. It's purple and green ketchup. What happened to purple and green ketchup? After 6 years of creative embellishment on food, the novelty wore off. 6 years? It took a whole 6 years. I would have thought it wore off like after a month. Why did Heinz purple ketchup fail? It was seen as unappealing, yes. They also changed the texture. Wait, hold on. It was seen as unappealing because to make the ketchup a different color, they had to change the genetic makeup of the original ketchup, which changed the texture. I thought it was just food coloring. They're actually out here genetically modifying ketchup to make it purple. That feels a bit more extreme than I thought. I thought it was just a regular ketchup with like food coloring. It's actually like an entirely different. They like engineered ketchup. Heinz purple and green ketchup. Why? Heinz. Why did they do this? On July 10th, 2000. Okay, the green ketchup was a promotion for the first Shrek movie. But what about the... What was the purple one? Stop playing. I hate autoplay. Get out of here. You guys hate this? Okay, you guys seeing this? I open this webpage, and you get this thing at the top. And I literally, I can't see any of the article. And there's no way to like hide this. Okay, I guess you can do this. But like it takes up by default like this much space. It's like half the screen. You guys ever like open up a web page on your phone and like the article is like 10% of it? I can't read this. I hate this. Okay, we got the green ketchup, purple. What is the purple one? Wait, they had instead of just green and purple, they also had orange, teal, blue, pink, and purple. This is too much. This guy wants them to bring back the purple and green ketchup. I always wonder how news websites find these tweets. Some news articles will be like, some people are petitioning for this thing to come back. And then what they list is a tweet that has like 57 likes. It makes you think that a lot of people are asking for this, but it's just like, it's one guy. It doesn't even have that much support. So people demand to bring back the ketchup. It's one guy. It's one guy. Okay, let me scroll down. Handful says, I remember my mom bought it once and my sister loved eating French toast. French toast with ketchup? Is that a thing people do? French toast with ketchup? It's kind of weird. When I think of stuff to put on French toast, it's usually like syrup. What's up with that? What's up with that? What's the deal? Oops. I'm willing to not judge most foods, but that just looks like food coloring. Yeah, but apparently it's more advanced than that. And says a lot of experiments. Look up Cranch. Yeah, we were literally talking about this. What is this? Hold on. What I just select the image area to search. Did I accidentally enable something? Did not mean to do that. Genetic makeup of the ketchup. Yes, ketchup is a plant, just like how pizza is a vegetable. Imagine being the mad scientist who came up with that. The ketchup. Genetically modifying ketchup to be different colors. hate modern website design, bring back the 90s. Yeah, there's, I don't know. Sites are getting harder to use. They put ads everywhere. They got the cookie banner, they got the auto-playing ads. One thing I also hate is like when I go on the there's a wiki called like F Extra Life or something. They have a lot of Dark Souls Wikipedia articles. Every time I go on that site, they always on the left side of the screen they always show like the Twitch embed for like I guess their Twitch channel. And I'm like, I don't want to be here. Right? Why would you autoplay a Twitch stream? I'm just looking up Elden Ring items. And I'm sure most of the people that are like quote-unquote watching that stream, like counted as viewers, they probably are just opening up a tab looking at the wiki. I don't know. Yeah, it's too much. Don't autoplay stuff. I'd prefer if websites would not autoplay anything. Yeah, one guy. French toast with ketchup. Yeah, what's the deal with that? She doesn't do it anymore. I guess it's just a little kid thing. You know how kids are. Just out here putting purple ketchup on, sorry, the green ketchup on their French toast. They're so wacky. What's the deal? What are they doing now? Let's see, savory French toasts are probably decent, but ketchup? Yeah, ketchup. What was she thinking? I've never seen French toast as a savory thing, right? Because you guys know how like crepes also. Usually when I think of crepes, I think of like sweets, but there are savory crepes as well. I've never had it, but it's not what I think of when I think of crepes. Same thing, I guess, for savory French toast. I think one time actually in my old workplace. One of my coworkers was like, let's go to this savory crepe place. And then we went there and I was like, this doesn't seem like a crepe at all. It seems like a completely different thing. And also, welcome Stanley. Is pizza still considered a vegetable? Probably. I would assume so. It's got a bunch of tomatoes on it. Kids have weird tastes. Love unspiced mincemeat without sauce. What is mincemeat? Is that just a bunch of meat chopped up? Yeah, any of y'all remember the Jif/Crunch collab? What is that? The Jif/Crunch. Oh, Crunch the chocolate bar. They're putting peanut butters and chocolate together. Like Reese's, except not. Jif peanut butter plus the Rice Krispie bits. Oh, I see. In Crunch. Crunch like the chocolate brand. Savory crepes are karagi drool. It's the Euro term for ground meat. Oh, mincemeat? Oh, mincemeat is just ground meat. I see. Okay, let me look this up. Jif and Crunch. I gotta know what this is. Jif, Crunch, collab? Is that a thing? Jif to go? No, this is just giving me crunchy peanut butter. I don't know how to look this up. Was it even real? Are you making this up, Choco Jacks? There's no results. Pizza's a fruit because tomato is a fruit. No. Is tomato sauce a fruit? Ground beef, yeah. Ground beef, sky beef, water beef, electric beef, fighting beef, fire beef. They got all the different types of beef. Let's see, first crepe I made was savory ham, cheese, spinach. Hold on, let me look up savory crepe. What is a crepe? Is a crepe just like the wrapping? Yeah, I guess it is. Honestly, it does look pretty good. It's pretty good. Oh, they got crepes with the eggs. Usually it's with like ham and cheese, if you like. In general, I prefer savory and sweet food separate. Make some of the Swedish cuisine a pain since we tend to mix that. This is the country of banana curry pizza. What? Is that a Swedish staple? Banana curry on pizza? Is that a controversial thing? Bananas on pizza? I've never seen that. Like, people always talk about pineapples on pizza. Never even thought of bananas. Pizza. I'm also not really a fan of mixing savory and sweet foods. It's just like when you bite into something. You imagine it to be either salty or sweet. But when you got two of them together, it just feels weird. It just is too much. It's too many different things together. Banana curry. Okay, let's look at banana curry. Oh, that is a thing. It does come up. It's the second result. Banana curry pizza, a Swedish favorite. This looks very weird. Got the holy frick. This looks gross. It's like, okay, like the texture of banana also is like, it's like mushy, and when you're eating it with the pizza, I imagine that'd be really like unpleasant, right? Like the crispy crust with the weird texture. It's everywhere. See, Tokujack says it was real. I think I remember when I was a kid. I don't know. You tell me what to search, because I don't know how to find it. Jif Crunch collab. See, a pizzeria that doesn't serve banana curry and kebab pizza isn't a proper pizzeria in Sweden. Is that part of their criteria? If you try to open a pizza restaurant, they'll ask you, banana, you got bananas, you got curries? Curries. Kebab. And kebab. Do you prefer my pizza with curry, bacon, and peanuts? Peanuts on pizza? I've never thought about this. Peanuts. I know some people, they do put bacon on pizza. That's like a pretty common thing. But usually, I think we talked about this in Handful Chat once. Like when people say bacon on pizza, it's usually bacon bits. But there are some places that actually put like entire strips of bacon on the pizza. I've had it once. It was extremely greasy. I'm not really a fan of it, but I guess like bacon bits are pretty good usually. Anyway, that's a thing. Anyone have Oreo cookie pizza? Full dessert pizza? I've never had it. Oreo pizza after dinner is common here. Nutella pizza? I've heard about this, but the idea seems weird to me. I know actually, some of the prepackaged pizza brands, they have pizza and cookies like together, and I don't know if they intended it for you to eat them separately, but like they're in the same box. And usually some people, when they, you know, like the microwavable pizzas, right? So let me look it up. Microwavable pizza and cookies, right? Yeah, DiGiorno pizza and cookies. It's a thing. They have them in the same box, and they're not depicted as being like eaten together, right? You see this is like the pizza's by itself, you got the cookie by itself. I think when some people like eat it, they just put the pizzas with the cookies and they eat them at the same time. And that feels weird to me. I guess it would be the same thing as... Okay, what the heck is this? Chocolate chip cookie pizza? What? Chocolate. Deep dish pizza? What the heck is that? Sugar cookie pizza? Strange things. Very strange things going on here. Also, welcome Chevs. Yeah, they should keep them separate. Let's see. Slime Molder says it might be okay if the bananas are fried and crispy, perhaps. Maybe. It's like banana chips. You guys ever have banana chips? Those are pretty okay. Let's see. Yes, you can go to any pizzeria and ask for a banana curry or a kebab pizza and have 99.99% chance they'd make it, no questions asked. It's only pizzeria that pretend to be authentic that don't have it. I don't know. There's some pizzerias that shove a hamburger and french fries into calzones. But those I think are genuinely memes. I don't know. Sometimes it's fine, right? But it's like with calzones. Calzones are naturally, you know, like savory and salty. Like putting a hamburger into one and french fries isn't too weird. But like bananas are they're like kind of sweet. Well, I guess the tomato sauce is also a little bit sweet. Sort of. It's got the acidity. I don't know, it's not the same thing though. You call them bacon, but it's actually ham. Canadian bacon. It's just pizza dough with Nutella on it. It cools down the dough. Pizza dough with Nutella. I see. So like instead of ketchup or ketchup. Yo, imagine ketchup on pizza. No, they had instead of tomato sauce, it's Nutella. I guess, I don't know. I guess that makes sense. I was imagining for some reason like tomato sauce and Nutella, which would be weird. It's a dessert. Let's see. I don't think it's sold anymore, but there was a phrase of dessert pizzas being popular. Yeah, I think they're pretty common. It's usually like chocolate. Here it is, dessert pizza. Cinnamon, they got cinnamon, they got the fruits on it. Out here, they have marshmallows, s'mores, they got the Hershey's Kisses. S'mores, sugar cookie, dessert pizza. I don't know. I don't know about this, guys. Also, welcome Praise the Tune. Comfy fishing stream. Look, I know I call this a fishing stream. I don't actually fish here. I'm just on a lake. That's just how it is. I caught one fish. Well, not today. I haven't even casted the rod today. I might not even do it. I might just be talking the whole stream. Soggy bread. What's a calzone? Calzone. A calzone is basically like a pizza pocket, right? So you put a pizza, you fold it, self-contained it. It's like the same thing. Fishing, yeah, fishing. Not be fished. Those are relatively common here as well. Nutella and strawberries are common. Ball ones wasn't that bad. I guess it's fine. It's fine if you're not mixing like the salty and the sweet. I do fish just at a very relaxed pace. I guess you could call it that. It's pretty relaxed. Can I throw hand grenades into the lake? Make fishing easier? No. Unfortunately, you cannot. Here, you know what? I'll do some fishing. I'll do fishing. Some people have never even seen me fish. So here it is. Here's what you do. You take the bait, you put it on the line. Yeah, and then you just do this. And then you wait. Wolfie fishing attempts. True. Wait, yeah, then you cast it and you're just here waiting. Sometimes there's lightning, you know, you got lightning up there. Say people do that. Are you talking about calzones? Calzones are a real thing. I don't know how, like... I don't know if calzones are a thing that originated, like, in Italy. Like pizza was, right? Pizza's an Italian thing. Like, are calzones, are those like naturally from Italy, or did people make that up? It's hard to tell sometimes. Wonder if lightning ever touches a lake? Maybe, yeah, maybe at some point. If you put like a metal rod in the water, I'm sure like, you know, it gets hit by lightning, it'll zap all the fish. It probably violates a lot of like ecological preservation or whatever, but I'm sure people do it, right? Lightning fishing is a new genre of fishing. I just invented it right now. I'm sure you could do it though. Spear fishing. It seems like it'd be really hard. Especially if like the fish are small. You know, how do people have such precision? You just throw a spear into the water, catch like a tiny fish. And it's like some people, they go fishing and then they release the fish back into the water. I'm gonna assume that people that do spear fishing do not release the fish back into the water because they're probably extremely dead. I'm sure someone does it though. I'm sure there's some psycho out there who goes spear fishing and then just releases the fish back. Anyway, here's a fish. Here's the first fish of the day. This game is called Catch and Release. I will catch and then release it. I can get $2.93. Calzones are Italian? Okay, good to know. See, probably someone dropped their pizza, saw that it got folded, and said, frick it, and ate it that way. No, it's like a separate thing. It's not like you make a pizza and then you fold it, right? It's like, it's made that way. You just cover it, you know, while making it. Conversationalists and Poseidon are gonna be mad at Zeus. The lightning fishing. Any chance we'll get a duck season stream? No. That's not a thing I do on this stream. Is there even... I'm sure there's a ton of hunting games in VR. A lot of games where you can just have a gun and shoot at animals in VR. That's not me. I will not do that. See, apparently lightning fishing mostly discharges over the surface of the water. So as long as the fish are down below, they're fine. It's also like ice fishing, right? He knows, does I know? Do I know? I don't know what you're talking about. Is there actually a game called Duck Season? Oh, let's see. It's interesting that you guys say panini, cannoli, etc., but you say calzones and not calzone. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't make it up. Calzone? Pizza? Pizza? Mamma mia. Comfy farming stream when? I did buy... There's a game called Dinkum. It's like a farming game set in the Australian outback. I don't know, maybe. Maybe I could do it. It's on Steam, made by Stress Level Zero. Oh, they're the guys that made Bone Lab, right? I avoid the game because it gives me motion sickness, probably. Or like any VR game that requires me to move around a lot is not a good fit for me. That's why this game is good. I'm just here, standing here. And I'm just looking around. Welcome, Delicious Smile. Should probably consider modern pizza a sort of American thing. We changed the type of cheese and added a bunch of toppings. Yeah, like New York style pizza is really different from like the original Italian style. Right, I mean, as someone who lives in New York, I prefer the New York pizza. It's pretty good. It's pretty cheap. I'm gonna conclude that I've never heard of Duck Season. Yes. The only awareness I have of Duck Season is the Bugs Bunny cartoon. Duck Season, a Rabbit Season. That's a thing. One of the classic cartoons. Got Elmer Fudd. What's that guy doing? You guys remember Elmer Fudd? Is he still out there? Is he still out there? Duck Hunt, but in VR. That's what I assumed it was. But your smile emoji makes me think that it's not that. I'm gonna assume that it's something else, something more sinister. Look, you sent the smile emote 4 times in the past 2 minutes. That's a lot. It's very suspicious. Extremely suspicious activity going on right now. I'm just glad to be here. Smiling, a smile. Another smile. People out here just smiling. People don't smile this much. It's suspicious. When someone smiles this much in chat, it's just like, what are you doing? You know something that I don't. It's like, actually, when I watch a game and I know what happens, everyone in chat is like, you know, they're smiling. I've been watching some Dark Souls playthroughs. Every time something happens, and everyone's like, always like, the streamer doesn't know. She doesn't know. Haha, smile. And the streamer's like, oh, should I go over here? And everyone's like, yeah, definitely. Smile. Smile. That's it. That's how things are. I'm sure someone here knows about Duck Season. It's a pretty neat game. Not me. I don't know. I mean, I could just look it up. You know what? I'm gonna look it up. This is a stream where we can look stuff up. I'm gonna see what you're smiling about. Did Kappa go out of style? I haven't seen that used, like, much recently. Alright. Duck Season game. Duck Season, a video game. There's a dog. That's the dog from Duck Hunt. It's $20. What's this? It's a guy in a suit. Is this Five Nights at Freddy's? It's a FNAF looking dude. Oh, it's like a horror game? I see. It's a guy shooting a guy in a dog costume. I see. This is totally different. This is not what I expected. There's the dog from Duck Hunt with a knife in your house. It's kind of fricked up, if you ask me. What's he doing? What's he doing in there? Duck Season game system? And now I know. The Zoomers with their jabaited and their smile. Chat members love to smile. Headset power is low. Okay, let me turn on my battery. It is recharging. Good American pizza is honestly better than good Italian pizza, though Americans are also good at making absolute trash pizza. That is true. There are some abominations out there. Alright, guys, what is everyone's opinion on ranch? Ranch on pizza? You guys against it? Are you for it? Are you neutral? I simply don't know. Karagi loves ranch on pizza. Some people think ranch doesn't belong on pizza, but some people use it as a dipping sauce. It's good for dipping, maybe. Used to have ranch for the crust. I guess it makes sense as a dipping sauce, because usually, like, the crust is usually just really dry on its own. See, nothing bad happens. If you're a good boy, it's just 5 levels of Duck Hunt. Unless you decide to go ballistic. Look, all the screenshots are telling me. There's a dog with a knife. I used to have ranch for the crust. American schools provided lots of ranch ketchup. Ketchup with the pizza? I don't know. I mean, like, ketchup is kind of like marinara sauce, right? But different. What is the major difference between ketchup and marinara sauce? It's just like the sweetener added to ketchup? Is that what it is? I don't know. They're kind of similar, right? Actually, in Japan, a lot of places will do spaghetti with ketchup instead of like tomato sauce. guys ever seen that? Ranch with pizza. Ranch is an anomaly here. It exists. But I've never had it on anything. I've never seen anyone using it. Ranch is okay. I think it's fine. Actually, some places, when they sell chicken wings, they'll give you the option between ranch and blue cheese. I actually cannot stand blue cheese. It's actually, in my opinion, it's awful. But some people seem to really like it. I have tried it sometimes, and I just think it's not good. I just think it's not good. That's just my opinion. Ranch is slowly becoming a universal American sauce like ketchup. Is ketchup usually associated with the US though? Like, I mean, ketchup exists everywhere. The dog. One is red, the other is white. What do you mean? Ketchup? Tomato sauce? What do you mean? What do you mean? Ranch? Ketchup ranch? Do we have any angry Italian? Oh, Laketh is Italian. It's from Italy. See, I remember people's locations. Okay, I've internalized this stream. Learned Tag Barrel is from Sweden. I learned that Happy Toaster is from California. That's it. Blue cheese is good when it's not in dressing form. I don't enjoy it. I don't know what it is about it. It's like the texture, the acidity. It's just a bit strange to me. It's like chunky. It's weird. It's like it's not smooth. It's too much. Cool Ranch, aka Cool American. Yes. I brought up before, remember Doritos? Doritos had, it used to be called Cooler Ranch and Nacho Cheesier. That's what I remember it being as a kid. Apparently they reverted it. Some people don't even think it's a thing. Ranch versus marinara sauce. Wait, did I compare ranch with marinara sauce? Sorry, I meant ketchup. I meant ketchup and marinara sauce. Ranch or cool? Wait, is Cool Ranch? Cool Ranch is different from regular ranch? Is it like, it's like Cool Whip and... Is there like a non-Cool Whip? They have Cool Whip and regular Whip. Is it the Ranch and Cool Ranch? The Marinara Trench. I see what you did there. Like, it's Italian, maybe I should stop talking angered Italians before by talking about stuff like coffee. Is Italian coffee like a well-known thing? Are they known for their coffee as well as their pizza? I don't know. I don't enjoy coffee, so I have no opinions. I don't think I've ever actually... I think I tried coffee once as a kid, and then I decided I just don't like it. I do enjoy the smell though. The smell of coffee is pretty good. Actually drinking it, I would not do it. I prefer not to do it. Coffee smells good. It's pretty good. Not even inaccurate. Man, that's a thing. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Coffee. Some people are very specific about their coffee. Some people are like, Starbucks. Get out of here with that Starbucks. Gotta go to the local coffee shop. You know, the coffee. The coffee. Gotta go to the corner store. Get that coffee. That's what people say. Some people out here talking like that. Not me though. Hey, Props Not Jack says, I hate my caffeine addiction. Birthday is also National Coffee Day. Yo, it's a sign. I'm sure you could stop drinking coffee. Wolfie with an accent. Yeah, it's me, Wolfie Wolfington. Yeah, it's me. I'm out here on the lake. Just me and the fish. New Yorker accent. I'm from New York. Actually, when I went to college, I think that's more like a Long Island accent. When I went to college, I knew I had a professor who had that kind of accent. I had one classmate who had that kind of accent. They would always talk like that. And they were very aware of it. The professor was very like, okay, she's like, okay, I do talk like this. And, you know, I say coffee. Yeah, that's right, you got a problem? That's what she said. That's what she sounded like. I mean, Italian cuisine is good enough that it deserves getting upset over, but there's something about the greasy American style that I like. It's also because it's more similar to our own abomination. Yeah, the banana curry pizza. Hey, oh, it's a me, Wolfio. I can do a British accent. Hello. Hello, governor, it's me. What kind of accent is that? It's me, Wolfie Wolfington. I got an alert on my phone. Face ID. I can't do Face ID. I have my VR headset is on. Let's see. Swedes generally tempo to like American stuff more. Tend to like American stuff more. And they got IKEA over there with the phone alert. Boy, mate. Wait, that's Australian. What is that? I always confuse Australian and like British accent. Sometimes when I'm playing Demon Crawl, I'll just narrate in my head like it's like, oh, we got a 1 over here, and this means you got the 3 over there. What kind of accent is that? There's like very specific. There's like this one video of a guy going over the different accents of different parts of the UK, and they're all like subtly different. You guys ever seen that video? Not using your VR headset in my Face ID photo amateur hour. Also welcome MM0. I don't know. Actually, the iPhone does have a mask mode. Ever since COVID was a thing, people be wearing masks everywhere. And Apple was like, okay, what if we added an option so that you can have a masked variant? So you don't have to take off your mask for the Face ID. And that's the thing. It's probably less secure, but whatever. See, some of that is dumb meme culture. People say bad things about America all the time, but we still obsess over American culture. See the Boston cucumber? I mean, like, American culture is basically everywhere, right? Because, like, especially for movies, you know, American movies always get translated to every language. They're always distributed internationally. Not so much the other way around, right? So it's not as often that foreign movies become popular over here. Goons. In Italy, we do not care about the rest of the world, but we still import everything. Yeah, just like in the olden days. Remember the olden days? They would travel. They would go. They had the Silk Road, you know. That's a thing. Anyway, yeah, that's cool. Accents. I'm out here on a lake. Just out here, you know. It's just me on a lake. Sean Connery. That's what he sounds like. That's exactly what he sounds like. Hello mate, it is me. The Silk Road, what do you mean? There's multiple, there's like the, you know, it's back in the day. They went to China, you know, and then they traded the silk. Let's see, but Swedish sodas might have American branding with the Statue of Liberty. Funniest is the frozen pizza named in honor of Bill Clinton. It's always funny, like, going to foreign countries and seeing what their impression of American stuff is, right? Like every time you go to Japan, they always have like, hey, here's a American style something or other. And then you're like, as an American, you're just like, we don't do this here. This is not a thing we do in America. But they think it is. Silk Road, the site in the deep web. I am aware of that. You know, that was named after the real Silk Road. And then if you play Pokemon Go, there's a thing called the Silph Road. You know, Silphco was a thing in Pokemon. That's a thing. I don't really know what it is, but it's a website that exists. I'm sure they track Pokemon or something. Don't they have a size called American size in Japan for big stuff? Probably in like specific restaurants, but it's not like a general thing. Actually, when I went to Japan one time, they had, I remember the first time I went to Japan, we went to like a basement of some place and then saw that they had a supermarket there, and we found out that supermarket was actually like a subsidiary of Walmart. I forgot what it was called specifically. We went there, we looked it up, and because you could use your Walmart, actually I don't know if it was Walmart or Costco or something. I think it was Walmart. But they said you could use your Walmart, like, points card there, and we're like, what the heck, this is owned by Walmart? But one of the things they had there, they had what was known as, American-style chips. And my friends were like, what is this? And then we bought it. It was basically, it was sour cream and onion. It was just regular sour cream and onion chips, but it was branded as American chips. Daiso? No, it was like a supermarket. I could probably look it up. I don't know. They have a Nugget Bridge in Pokemon. There's a tournament called after that as well. And Pokemon is so wacky. Importing stuff. True. Wouldn't mind being known for that flavor. Sour cream and onion. I mean, it is pretty good. I forget what other things are labeled as like American flavor in Japan. Like I've had Pringles there. I talked about it. You know, like Pringles in Japan are actually much smaller than they are in the US. Guys, I'm gonna say it. Sour cream and onions is better than barbecue. I agree. I think so as well. I agree. You're right, and you should say it, in my opinion. I mean, barbecue is okay. It's fine. Speaking of the Bill Clinton pizza, we still have frozen pierogies, named after Gorbachev, with Soviet-themed marketing. Pierogies are pretty good. Bill Clinton pizza. Actually, I went to, when I was in Japan, I think the first year or the second year I went there, I went to this one place in, I forget where it was. It had the famous, like, the shrine thing in the water. I went there. And there was a stand that had, like, ice Monaca. It's basically like, you know, like those wafers? It's like a wafer, but, like, in the shape of a... Actually, let me just show you. I'll just look it up. Basically, it's like a wafer thing, and it's got ice cream inside of it. And the thing basically said, Obama president loves ice Monaca. Here, this is it. Yeah, it's like this. Monaca ice cream. It's like this, except shaped like a leaf or something. It's pretty good. What the heck? There's an anime character, Danganronpa. I would recommend that. Look at this. It's pretty good. Also, welcome Kuzip. The Danganronpa. And good cartoon theme songs out of it for what? It's how anime. I see. Yeah, like in the US, when we dub over anime, it's always a fancy thing. Let's see. I wish America was the way Japan portrays America. Like in anime, it's always like every time there's an American in anime, they're always blonde. It's all like, oh, the only people that exist in America are blonde. Every time they have an exchange student, a foreign exchange student from America, it's always a blonde person. That's how it is. How have I been? I've been doing good. I'm doing pretty well. I caught one fish today. I've released it. I caught and released it. As is typical in the game named Catch and Release. Okay, hold on, there's a whole sub-conversation happening here about Italian dubs of anime. Blonde wearing an American flag accessory. Yeah, it's like first thing I think of with that is the guy from Yu-Gi-Oh! Bandit Keith. Yeah, that guy's in America. He's American. Which is weird because there aren't that many blonde people here. I guess it's to highlight the foreignness. Yeah, that's the thing. I also remember. Anyone here watch the Love Live movie? So what happens in that movie is that they go to New York, and you know, as some people know, New York has a lot of like different cultures. You know, they have different neighborhoods for different cultures. But when they went there, it was like they made it seem like there was no like Asian food there at all. You know, they were just going around to different places, and one of the characters was like, well, bread is great, but I wish I had rice. Man, if only there was a place in New York where you could get rice. Man, there's no way. And then Maki is like, oh, I know of one place that has it. And then they went to this one place. But I mean, like, there's rice everywhere. You can go, like, there's, like, Japanese supermarkets everywhere. There's, like, Japanese restaurants everywhere. Did they even go to New York? What are they even doing? Anyway, they always like underestimate the amount of. Yeah, there's one place. There's only one place in New York where you can get rice. And actually, that one place was like a few blocks away from the movie theater that we were watching it at. So everyone actually in the movie theater, everyone cheered when they went to that one place. They were all like, "Well, we know that place. It's like 2 blocks from here." Whoa, I know that. This got the guy. It's the place with the food. It's wild. Anyway, that's a thing. I'm glad you remembered the price. It was a $2.93 fish that I released. See, to be honest, I see a lot of blonde people, but I think it's because of where I lived and people like to dye their hair blonde. I guess it does depend on the place. Like, what do you think is the part of America that has the most blonde people? I don't know. California, maybe? Who knows? We will never know. Talk about anime. It all comes. Yeah, all the food comes from one place. They went to an alternate universe, New York. Actually, also, like when you watch anime and they have like foreigners trying to speak English. Well, I mean, okay, the foreigners speak English normally, but usually they don't hire native English speakers to read their lines, especially for like sub characters. And so like, you know, the whole thing usually is that they're bad at Japanese, so they have like broken Japanese. But then when they speak English, it's also like, as a native English speaker, you're like, they're not really speaking English, right? It sounds definitely like, you know, someone who's just reading a script, unfamiliar with the language. But actually, in the Love Live movie, the voice actors that they hired to voice the random people in New York, they were actually fluent English speakers, which I feel is pretty uncommon in anime. So I was impressed. It's like they actually knew English. It's pretty cool. So I think Minnesota had a lot of Scandinavians immigrate there at one point, so maybe there. Are there a lot of... Are Scandinavians, a lot of them are blonde? I have no idea. I did have a Scandinavian... No, maybe he was Norwegian. Someone... One of my coworkers... Maybe a few of them. They've all been blonde, so maybe that is a thing. Texas is famously known for bottle blondes, but I don't think it has the most, even including that. Texas, you're from Texas? I've learned that 3 people's locations. This stream. Tag Barrel is from Sweden. Happy Toaster is from California. And Kuzip is from Texas. Yeah, Hamflow is from Texas. He's also notable for being from Texas. He can't stop talking about every stream. He's like, hey, it's me, Hamflow. I'm from Texas. This is a joke. He doesn't actually do that. He says, hello, I'm Hamflow. I'm from Texas. Here's my specific address. This is my GPS coordinates. He just tells you his exact location at all times. Oh, let's see, hold on. They were forced to tell lies about their culture. The Swedish blonde is a thing. Is that a Swedish thing? That they're forced to lie about their culture? Let's see, on the topic of English voice actors, there's an anime currently airing that has a character voiced by the same person in the Japanese version and the English dub. Okay, which anime is that? Also, welcome Gosher. I don't even know what's airing this season. Ever since last season, everyone was talking about Bocchi the Rock. What do you think? What anime is everyone going to talk about this season? I don't even know. Last season, it was like... It was Bocchi the Rock, it was Chainsaw Man. I saw some people tweeting about Gundam. This season, I don't even know. I'm doxing the stream. See, I might be misremembering, but I think Ham said the general area he's from once and it was close to me. Yo, doxed. Actual location doxed. Also Texas-shaped the hams. Let's see, the lies I was speaking of, the English voice actors having to pretend rice doesn't exist. What? Oh, wait, hold on. Pretend... They're forced to tell lies about their culture. What? Okay, I don't know. English voice actors. Alright. Tomo-chan. Tomo-chan anime. I don't know. Tokyo Revengers. Oh yeah, I did see some people talk about Nagatoro. Onimai and Tenten are the biggest shows I see talked about. Tenten? What's that? There's a Nier anime? Oh, in the Love Live movie. That's what you meant. No, but the English random people in Love Live, they were not talking about the food though. I think they were just talking about music or something. There's a lot of anime. How do people even watch this much anime? Instead of watching anime, you can spend your time watching VTubers. Okay, let's look at the list. There's a website, was it AniChart.co or something? You can look at some anime. AniChart.net. Got Vinland Saga, you got this thing, you got Tokyo Revengers, you got Nier. Got the Nagatoro. Tomo-chan, this is the one with the fluent. I wonder who it is. It's gotta be the blonde character in the back right there. It's probably that one. I'm gonna assume that's the foreigner. Got this thing, whose title I can't read because it's in Japanese. Got this one, you got the one about spies, you got Kubo-san. got the Dungeon Danmachi. I've never watched either of these. This is the Onimai one, right? That one, yeah. I know Denshi's watching this one because he has mentioned it. I think one time he said he's watching the Oni-chan anime, and I was like, isn't that all anime nowadays? But maybe not. Don't know any of these. There's so much stuff. Pokemon's still airing. You got Precure. That's going on. Let's see. Blonde hair evolved with lighter skin, so it's common where vitamin D is at a premium. The further north you go, the more blondes there are. Wait, is blonde hair... Blonde hair is when you have less sunlight? It's like a regional thing? I did not know. Precure. Last season of Pokemon with Ash. Wolfie the anime. The Wolfie anime. Yeah, Precure, that's airing. It's always airing. You got Fate Go. You got My Hero Academia. It's a bunch of stuff. Look at all this anime. How is there so much anime? Some people out here with their lists, they're like, how there's so much anime, I can't keep up. It's me when I'm watching VTubers. Alright, let's see. Blonde hair is less melanin, pale skin is less melanin, they're related. I see. The less melanin your skin has, the more easily you absorb vitamin D. So how does blonde hair... Okay, blonde hair is less melanin. Interesting. I guess that is one of the things I learned today. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool how regional weather can affect physical appearances over long terms. Delicious Smiles username is a Precure reference. I know, I remember. It was explained a long time ago. And I was like, yeah, I will remember this. See, prevent sunlight from being blocked, so more vitamin D synthesis. Though also more cancer. Dang. Is there actually a higher rate of cancer in people that are blonde? I don't know. Do I like Precure? I've never watched Precure, but I have a friend who's really into it. Every time she lives in Japan, and her apartment is basically entirely full of Precure stuff, to the point where some of our friends call it the Precure Museum. But when I go to Japan, I'll usually be staying at her place, and it's like, it's got Precure everywhere. It's everywhere. You can't even avoid it. She goes to the, like those live shows that they do? It's usually for children, you know? It's like the hero shows, except it's Precure. Like when you got people wearing the mask and they're like, oh no, here's the villain, and the kids are all cheering, they're like, yo, you can do it, you can do it. And then they're going like, they're fighting the villains on stage. She goes to those. She goes to those often enough that the actors recognize her, and they point her out when they see her in the crowd. That's pretty cool. Yeah. It is pretty cool. I think it's really cool. And then, yeah. Anyway, it's fun. I have a few photos. I have a few photos of her apartment. I wish I was that passionate about something. What about VTubers? What about when you're watching VTubers? It's kind of like that. It's very similar. Also, I should hydrate. It's been over an hour. You think it's about time that I hydrate? Alright. I wish I was passionate about something. Sadly, my VTuber fervor has diminished a bit. But I recognize you as a chatter in Pomu Rainpuff stream. I don't know if you're there recently, but that's where I know you from. Every time I see your name, you're like, oh, that's the guy from Pomu's chat. But I feel like a lot of times, you know, some people don't show up in chat as often as they used to, but I still associate them with like a specific streamer, you know? I'm sure there's probably some people from like really back in the day that whose names I remember. They're probably not even there anymore. But when I see him, I'm like, yo, that's the guy, I know him from this other streamer's chat. Actually, there's some people that used to show up in my chat a lot. And I see them in other streams, and I'm like, yo, I know that guy. He used to chat in my streams, and he's never here anymore. But he was at one point, and that's how I know him. See, there's other fun adaptations humans have made. Intuits have more brown fat, which allows them to pretty much turn on an internal heater. Rest of us plebes have to shiver like losers. Dang, that's like some advanced strats right there. Like, I've been recommended some YouTube videos of people that live like... There's a place, I think, in Russia, or like the really northern part of Russia. It's called like Yakutia or something, or I don't know how to pronounce it. But it's basically, it's like the coldest inhabited region of the world. And it's just like, it's really interesting to see how they live up there. You know, it's like, it's so cold. It's like negative like 70 degrees Celsius or something. And you're like, how do they live up there? If I was there, I would just move somewhere else, right? And the thing is, like, you would think it's cold all year round. No, sometimes, like, in their summer, it's actually as warm as it is here. And they got, like, a really wide range of temperatures. But it's always, like, you know, stuff we take for granted here, like having fresh water. They collect ice, and then they collect firewood to melt the ice to make water. Yeah, I also saw the shower video. They don't have like running water because like the pipes will burst or something. So they have to boil all of their ice blocks to make water. And then when they go fishing, oh yeah, that's what I wanted to mention earlier. I forgot the context, but I mentioned ice fishing, I think. I saw one of those ice fishing videos from up there. It was interesting. Let's see, MM0 says I'm a mad lurker wherever I go. I also tend to lurk. It's pretty rare for me to actually say anything worthwhile in someone else's chat, you know? I'll usually just send an emote or not say anything at all. I don't know. That's how things are. Nano Dan says, I recognize that ancient, cryptic, decrepit Kemonodachi. Handful. It's him, he's here. Speaking at 3 emote strings. Yes. Often I'm just waiting for something to happen on stream so that I can put a relevant emote in chat. Also, welcome Wishy Wishy. When they play music and then I could put like a dancing emote. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. The nodding emote. Yeah, that's a thing. Actually, I should go into night mode. It's weird to end the stream with it being daytime, you know, because I take off the headset and I look outside, and then it's like it's dark outside. It's got to be dark in game. so that I don't get overwhelmed by the darkness outside. The darkness that envelops all of us. If you really think about it, the darkness is within us. The real darkness. It's inside us the whole time. Yeah, the Dark Souls. It's fun how adaptable we are. People seem to think lots of environmental catastrophes will wipe us out. But then we have old ladies living their lives out in frozen heckscapes. Or lethal radioactive zones. Yeah, people, we will simply evolve. It's like, advanced. People are so advanced. Like me, I will never die. I'll just be here. I'll just be here on the lake forever. Endure to darkness. Kingdom Hearts. Wait, is that a Kingdom Hearts thing? The darkness within us? Is that a Kingdom Hearts reference? Darkness is among us. It is Among Us, actually. Because in Among Us, you can turn off the lights, right? As an imposter. You could turn off the lights and it's dark. Wow. It's just like in Among Us. It will take a lot for humans to become extinct. But what about climate change, though? What about the water levels rising due to the polar ice caps melting? What about bears? What about bears? Bears out here just killing people? That's not true. That's not true at all. Bears are perfectly fine. You upload consciousness into the VR fishing matrix. The matrix. Into the metaverse. Look, we're already there. I'm already in the metaverse. This is the real metaverse. The lake. This entire lake is the metaverse. The only metaverse that we know. Some old wizened boomers will cook ice on the peak of Mount Everest. Yeah, that's how you get fresh water from that. That's how people out there harvesting ice for water. Well, if he has feet, it cannot be the metaverse. Didn't you see that people have legs now in the metaverse? They had that whole tweet. Mark Zuckerberg was there. He had legs. He was demonstrating them. You had people in the background not having legs. And they were like, whoa, can't wait until we get legs. Thank you, Zuckerberg. Eventually we'll get it. It was Zuckerberg and one other person. Everyone else in the back just out there jumping up and down with no legs. Yeah, $1 billion. They did say that they would add leg tracking to one of their apps. But I think it's not actual leg tracking. It's just like approximated, like, you know, based on the position of your hands and your headset, they will use like machine learning to determine the most likely position that you would have your leg in real life. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense at all. It sounds stupid. But anyway, it probably doesn't matter that much. For me specifically, I have no interest in making my VR tracking more accurate. Right, that's why I'm not wearing leg trackers. If I move my legs, you can't see it. You can't see the range of motion on my legs. Right? I'm moving them right now and you can't even see them. You know? It's not even real. My arms though, these are real. I can move this. I can move this around. Anyway, yeah, this one. Legless. Yo, Legolas from The Lord of the Rings. You guys know that guy actually did have legs. They called him Legless, and yet he was not actually legless. He was actually leg full. They should be calling him leg full. He has the typical amount of legs. Why didn't they pick a legless actor? I don't know. It's hard sometimes to find the right person. They should have picked Scarlett Johansson to be someone that she's not. Full of legs. Yeah, he has so many legs. Anyway, okay, well, that's it. That's, we talked about many things today. I'm talking as if I'm about to end the stream. No, we still got like 10 minutes. 10 to 15 to 20 minutes. I was doing some self-reflection on the past 2 years of streams, because as you know, tomorrow is the 2-year anniversary. And I was like, man, I didn't even start my fishing streams until like last year. It's been almost a full year of fishing streams. But when I look back, I'm like, I didn't even stream like, you know, 5 to 6 days a week. Right, the first year of my streaming, I streamed like maybe once a week. And I was like, oh, this is a good quantity. This is a normal amount. And then when I played games constantly. 6 days a week of streaming. Yeah, 2 more years, only 2, no, there's gotta be like 50 years. 50 more years of streams. Look at how many streams there are. How can there even be this many streams? But as for tomorrow's stream, I don't really have plans for it. I'm just gonna make sure I have my Firefox capturing working properly. We're just gonna watch some VODs, and then I'll just be pointing out stuff. I'll be like, okay, at the beginning of this year, remember this stream? I did this thing. We did this thing. I don't know if like 2.5 hours. I can't talk. I don't know if 2.5 hours is like enough time, or maybe it's like too much time. I have the impression it's probably not going to be enough time to go over everything, because I did stream a lot this year. Remember when I died to Pinwheel? No. It did not happen. I almost did though. Remember that? I almost died to Pinwheel. The boss of Dark Souls, the real final boss. But yeah. Cause I don't know, like, normally when people do their, like, when people do their 1-year anniversary stream, and they're reacting to old videos, they usually react to, like, you know, every video. But after, like, the first year, if you have your 2nd-year anniversary, you're not gonna, like, go back and react to the first year of videos again, right? So I'm like, do I just talk about the 2nd year? Do I go back to the last year's anniversary stream and then be like, yo, remember this? And then not even talk about the first year? Because I'm trying to remember what I did for my 1st-year anniversary stream. It's been like a whole year. I think I like briefly scrolled through my videos and then I just talked. They make a randomizer like Germa did. Wait, what does Germa do anniversary streams? What does he do? Germa's always out there making wacky videos. Every time he streams, it's like a special event. Almost every time. That guy's out here doing so much. How's he so wacky? I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll find out tomorrow, you know? I'm just tuning into the stream, they're like, how's this guy doing? And then I'll be here reacting to a video, and you'll be like, I don't want to watch this. I would rather not watch a streamer reacting to content. He has made Through the Ages streams. Last time he had a bot go to a random spot in a random video. I guess that would be a good idea, you know. Because, you know, I do talk about many things on these streams. I'm sure if I pick a random spot in the video... Oh, actually, YouTube has, whatchamacallit? They have transcripts now. So if you click something in a YouTube video, it'll pull up a thing on the right that has a text log of everything that was said. And then I could probably just scroll through that and be like, you know, read through it, choose a specific part that seems interesting. React streamer Wolfie. Yeah, that's me. We can go through... Yo, I'm gonna start off the stream and then I'll be like, oh shoot, wait. Holy frick, we got the shooting stars. This is one of the rare events that happens. It's very pretty, you got shooting stars up there. While it's raining? I don't think I've had this combination. Usually the sky's clear when we have shooting stars. But we got lightning and shooting stars? Yo, this is the SSR. The super rare event. Oh, my last fishing stream before the anniversary eve rare event. Very cool. It'd be cooler if we had the Aurora Borealis though. Remember that? Anyway, I'm sure when I go over the videos, I usually remember very specific things. Like, I remember when I played Mario Sunshine, there are a few stages where I have like very vivid memories of like, oh yeah, I remember talking about this specific thing on this specific stream, right? Like some specific ones are like, when I was at Manta Ray level, I was talking about candy. One of the Mario platforming levels, I was talking about how there was like a restaurant in Taiwan or something, and everyone changed their name to Salmon. Something about that. There was when I was in the lava level, I was talking about wanting to leave my job, you know, remember that? Good times. Fun times. Aurora Borealis, exactly. It's usually over there. Yeah, and then when I go through my stream, I'll be like, yo, this was the first time we saw the Aurora Borealis. And I actually do remember that one time. I remember that one time. First time I saw it, Kochatan raided. She's not here that often, or she doesn't stream very often. But I remember. I saw the Aurora Borealis, and then we got raided. It's good times. And I said, yo guys, look at this. And then we looked at it. Anyway, anyone out here remembering things? I am a fan of remembering things. Also, I just noticed my VR headset battery pack got unplugged. I don't know how long ago it got unplugged. Okay, it's plugged in again. Okay, it's recharging. It's fine. It's fine. We're ending stream soon anyway. Anyway, hope y'all are doing good today on this Wednesday. Oops. No, we're fine. Yeah, the water. Yo, it's a water. Yeah, this is Water Wednesday. Campbell's gonna be playing some Mario Sunshine. Right now. Actually, right now. He's probably starting his stream right now. I've never been able to catch the beginning of a Handflow stream because it always overlaps with when I end my stream. Like I'm usually wrapping up. That's cool though. It's cool. Anyway, I guess that's it. Got nothing else to talk about. It's been exactly 2.5 hours. Well, I guess I usually go a bit longer. I usually go to like 7:40 something. I do not believe we have nothing else to talk about. But you leave if you want to. No, there's gotta be stuff. There's gotta be at least 10 minutes of content. Gotta miss out on the end of all streams because I'm starting my streams. Exactly. That's how things go. Also, Chocojax's streams. Tune into Handflow right now. Right now. It's also the thing, like, if you stream often enough, I think eventually you kinda run out of stuff to talk about sometimes. because you're like, okay, I could talk about this, but I've already talked about it like 5 times already. And I was like, the issue with streaming so often is that, you know, there's not much to talk about sometimes. But we did talk about it a lot this stream. Sometimes I feel like I talk about stuff and then I move on to a different topic too quickly. You know? I'm just like, oh yeah, there's this thing. Oh yeah, also there's this other thing. And I did not finish expanding on the first thing. Do I have pets? I have some fish. I have 2 fish. And then some birds upstairs. Actually, 1 bird upstairs. Some people may remember it used to be 2 birds. It is 1 bird. It is now 1 bird. Moving on too quickly is just saving it for later streams. No, but then I don't remember. I forget what kind of fish. I don't know, it's like a... I don't know what species of fish. It's like reddish orange. They're pretty large. What kind of birds? I think they're parakeets. No, it's a parakeet. It's kind of similar to the color of Chocojax's birds. There's a green one. That's the one that passed away. And then there's one that's like white. It's like a white and yellow. Mostly white. It has a little bit of yellow on the edges. I don't know what kind of bird it is. I have no idea. Anyway, that's a thing. We used to have many more fish. Now there's only 2. There's 2 remaining, you know. Fish don't live that long. But I am surprised these fish lived this long. Actually, I actually don't know what the average lifespan of a fish is. Or like this specific species of fish. I don't even know what species it is. It's just a large red fish. Did we talk about the mega old carp before? I think it was the koi fish, right? The one that lived in like the Japanese Imperial Palace or something. We did talk about this. They looked it up afterwards. There have been some disputes about the age of that fish, but they have concluded that it is very old for a fish. Yeah. Actually, speaking of koi or carp, I actually did not know that. But there was I remember when I first learned about that really old fish. It was on a YouTube video. And then one of the comments was like, whoa, this fish lived this long. Imagine all the stuff it's seen. It's seen wars, it's seen, you know, conflicts, it's seen, you know, all this stuff. And then the comments were just like, dude, it's a fish. Like, it probably just looked at the sky. It probably was just looking at, you know, just swimming around. It didn't see a war. How many fish do you think have seen a war? Probably not many. Probably very few. It's just a fish that wants food. It just gets fed. Eels can be pretty old if you prevent them from breeding. Are eels the kind of species where, like, if they breed, then their mate kills them? Like, there's some species of animals that do stuff like that, right? Like spiders? Do spiders do that? I don't know. Two fish that have seen wars. Sharks can live 500 years. Holy frick. That's a long time. Some turtles are also really old. Trees, yo, imagine being a tree. Like, that tree could have been there for like 1,000 years for all we know. I mean, probably not, but tens of years. I mean, not this specific tree, because this tree is fake. But like, you know, some trees in real life, they're like thousands of years old. Some spiders, mantises, some flies. Don't flies typically have really short lifespans? Are there flies that live like tens of years? Usually when I think of flies, I think like they live on the span of like days / weeks, maybe. Or maybe it's just some specific species. of flies. I don't know, there's a lot of variation out there. Nature sure is wild. Yeah, hours and minutes even. True. Very true. I remember, like, I think when I was in high school or middle school, I would watch, like, PBS a lot. Okay, so people that are not familiar with PBS, it's like the public broadcasting system. And they, a lot of times, they'll have, like, nature documentaries. Remember, like, every Sunday, I would, like, you know, at 4 p.m., they would show a nature documentary. And I'd watch it and it'd be like, whoa, this is so cool. Also, this is kind of messed up. One of those shooting stars went in front of that mountain. Doesn't that mean it's super close to us? I feel like this is not correct. Okay, you guys see that mountain over there? This one? I saw a shooting star go in front of it. I don't think that is supposed to happen. It's also like when people draw moons, right? When you see a crescent moon, see, look at that. You see that? When people draw a crescent moon, and then there's like the dark part of it, or like, okay, the moon looks like this, right? And then sometimes people draw a star in front. Look at that, yeah, that star just went past. They'll draw a star like in where the dark part is. It means the star is closer to us. There's no way you can do that. The eel, I think, just die after breeding out of exhaustion. Oh, okay. They swim across the Atlantic twice? Holy frick, that's like really far. Think about like how far some birds migrate. You're like, how do they do that? How do they remember to go all the way there? Also, yeah, those stars are in front of the mountain. This shouldn't happen. This is messed up. Stars should not be in front of mountains. That means they're like really close to us. Look at that. We're doomed. Some salmon die from getting tired. Yeah, they swim upstream. They swim up waterfalls. Sometimes there's just like a bear at the top of a mountain waiting for fish to swim up. Like, imagine being a fish doing all this like migration, going really far, and then once you reach your destination, there's just like a bear waiting for you and it kills you. It'd be messed up. Are they fireflies? No, they're shooting stars. Also, welcome on Bisshunted. How's fishing? I caught 1 fish today. And that's pretty cool. Anyway, okay. I think that'll be it. That'll be it for today. Let's find out what day today is. And who to raid. The oldest eels have been from people tossing them down wells since they can't move, they keep living. Oh, so the eels just die because, you know, it's in their nature to just move around a lot. That's pretty interesting. Let's do today. Museum Selfie Day, National Winnie the Pooh Day, National Forest Day, National Gourmet Coffee Day, National Michigan Day, National Peking Duck Day, National Thesaurus Day, Weedless Wednesday. Description: how about quitting smoking for just a day? ... today. Okay, and a bunch of birthdays. Actually, this is a very small number of like non-birthday holidays. Let's do, so there are 8 holidays today. They breed in Sargasso. What is that, Sargasso? That's a place? Eels? The Sargasso eels. Keeping them in Europe? Oh, the sea, okay. Okay, that's cool. Okay, let's do National Gourmet Coffee Day. National Gourmet Coffee Day raid. There's probably a coffee emoji you can use somewhere. Okay, let's see who to raid. who's out here streaming? Okay, you could watch ChocoJax play art. Sorry, draw art, I guess. You could watch Hamflow play Super Mario Sunshine. Those are some people that are streaming. But I will raid... Private Lexi raided us recently. We can see what he's doing. Wasteland 3. POV, you get sent to Colorado? Yo, that's where Slime Molder's from. Okay, let's do a raid. This channel is intended for mature audiences. Well, that's gonna be it for today. Thanks for watching. Tomorrow I'll be back with the 2-year anniversary stream where I will just be reacting to videos from the past year or two. We'll have fun. It's a good stream, good chat. We talked about so many things today. Dozens of topics. Several things were said. It's pretty cool. Thanks for stream. Thank you for watching. Thank you viewers. Thank you everyone. And then after tomorrow, on Friday we'll be playing some more Kemono Friends Picross. Saturday I still don't know what I'm gonna do. I guess I have some games that I could play. There's this game, Assemble with Care. It's where I guess you build stuff. I don't know. We could do that. You can play Dinkum. This is the Australian farming game. Anyway, the raid's gonna go. I'm gonna stop talking. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. 4, 3, 2, 1. Dwarf? No.